there were a couple of quite emotional, like sentimental moments in the script also that ended up getting cut from the final version of the film. For example, and I know this one's going to make Leo real sad,
Yeah.
on that last fateful night in Arrakeen when the all of House Atreides is like settling down, Dr. Yui is giving everyone their sleeping pills or whatever. In that in the script, as Jessica and Leto are falling asleep, Jessica's massaging Leto's head. It's a very loving, touching moment. Throughout all of that, throughout that whole winding down montage, we were supposed to be hearing Gurney singing on the balisette
Yeah.
to the troops in the barracks. He was supposed to sing us through to that final night as we fall asleep, and then Yui betrays us and takes the shields down, and the attack begins. Obviously, all of that is gone. No Gurney singing. The tone of that final night is much more somber and quiet versus having this like voiceover of Gurney singing an entire song for us during that montage. What do we think of that change?
I think we were robbed of Best Original Song nomination. Could you imagine?
Especially
So true.
because what they were going to do is he was going to sing an early draft of Just a Ken or whatever that fucking song was from the Barbie movie, word for word. It wasn't going to make any sense in context, but they were going to win the Oscar for
It was, now
what
that I
matters.
said, that's a tough field. That was a tough field. Oh, man.
I genuinely think this would have been so excellent. Like, I do think that the scene where Jessica and Paul, no, the scene where Jessica and Leto are going to bed, and Leto goes, "I don't want to take the sleeping pill. I just want to fall asleep." Kind of, that moment is basically perfect. So I don't want to be misconstrued as to saying like I want to change that.
Right.
But I do think having a scene, to your point earlier, Luna, like to have this normalcy, to have this like, this is something that Gurney does sometimes. The troops are settling down in the barracks and he's going to do a little bit of singing to like get everyone in the mood to fall asleep. Like I think that would have given a much more like world building depth to this team, to this family, to Gurney as a character. I think it would have, I am glad we got Still Suits Full of Piss. Like that's a banger song. Song of the summer, every summer, as far as I'm concerned. But I do think that this would have added a really, really nice tone shift. If it is this kind of beautiful, calm moment, maybe the words of his song are about the peace or I don't know, whatever. And then the attack on Arkeen is that much more brutal and that much more awful because you see these people who were just settling in for a night of rest disrupted and killed. Like
Yeah.
that would have been really, really nice. And I also couldn't help but realize like we see when Gurney wakes up, it's the only shot we get of the balisette in the movie is right next to his bed. So I'm wondering if that was either a remnant from material that they shot and recorded of him in getting into bed with the balisette and singing, or if that's just a tip of the hat to like, okay, well, we have the balisette, we're going to feature that in part 2, but we're just going to have it here for those people who are kind of eagle-eyed watchers. But yeah, the more I've thought about this cut in particular, the more I think I would have liked to have it in the movie. And maybe that means that you push the Jessica, so Yui gives them the medicine, Jessica and Leto go to sleep. After that, cut to Gurney singing, and then the rest of the night montage of people settling in can be just like 30 seconds of this little song from Gurney, and then transition to, I guess, Yui knocking out the people or killing the guards and turning off the shields.
Yeah.
I think that in my cut, if I was in the director's seat, sorry Villeneuve,
Yeah.
that's probably what I would have aimed for.
I actually really love that. I one edit I would suggest even there is leave Gurney singing as Yui is killing the guards there.
Oh,
Like
shit.
what an emotional like juxtaposition that would be to have a somber sweet song from Gurney Halleck playing as you're watching like, wait, is that Yui? What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
And then kind
Ooh.
of kind of have that I actually agree. I would love for this to be back in the film. I do wonder if it was cut for perhaps just like, because not every cut is creative, right? Some cuts
Right.
could just be like, we fucked up the recording, or like this actually was a good idea and we were all in on it, and then maybe Josh Brolin just doesn't have the pipes to sustain a 2-minute montage sequence of singing nonstop, you know? Like, there could have been technical or performance reasons as well to be like, we got to pivot. Original idea was great, but we just can't pull it off in a way that isn't coming off as cheesy. Because I think as scripted, it is really powerful.
Yeah,
I read
totally.
the script and I was like, wow, what a way for the last night on Arrakeen before the big attack. So that is why it makes me, and it doesn't feel like the kind of cut that Villeneuve would make, you know? It's not like superfluous lore stuff. It doesn't take away or add to the story in a significant way. It feels like a thing Villeneuve would have wanted to keep, and I'm curious if there were technical reasons why they couldn't, and they had to just simplify and settle with what they could do.